Hello, and thanks for joining us on this edition of Public Conscience on Radio, a program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMORG. Of course, it's supported by the MacArthur Foundation. I am Chukwudi Okoliubaja. My co-anchor today is Adobe Obiabumo.
Thanks for joining us on the program.
This edition of Public Conscience takes up the issue of extortion of money in the process of registering a child at birth.
The inquiry took a correspondent of the International Center for Investigative Reporting to Owerri and Port Harcourt, where she uncovered actual instances of the said extortion.
The issue here is that registration of birth is supposed to be free, and there are actually UN provisions that make such registration the right of the child. So why would anyone extort money from anybody to register a child?
That's a question that needs prompt answers, particularly since it has led to low birth registration.
And the search for answers actually led us to bringing into the studio today somebody who works for ICIR. She's a reporter with the organization. She went around to uncover the extortion of money we talked about, and she came up with a few findings. Jennifer, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I am running ahead of you. Jennifer Ugwa is our guest today, and we're welcoming her properly to the program.
Thank you. It's Jennifer Ugwa.
Thank you very much. Tell us briefly what your experience has been on the field.
Birth registration, especially when it has to do with the child, actually has to do with following the process that the government should actually look at when they're trying to, especially in the area of documenting the statistics of an individual, which basically starts at birth or when a child comes to be. So what happened is that on a norm, a child that is not registered at birth is assumed to not exist. Yeah, because you can't make plans for someone that is not on a database. So that's why you need statistics of someone when he was born and everything about him. So with that, you could work with what you have to even change policies and make reforms in the society. So during the investigation, we found out that there are extortion in the process. In some cases, you might want to assume it's subtle, but it's there. In whichever form it comes.
Extortion is extortion.
Yeah, it's there, actually.
Your findings, what did they reveal in terms of how it actually starts? There has to be roots to any happening at all. What did you find in terms of how it starts? Basically,
first, it starts with the mother having to immunize a child, because it's from this is the first step. So when you need to immunize your child, the people at the hospital or the primary health care that you're going for the immunization, let's assume you didn't give birth in the hospital that is owned by the government. So the question of your child certificate, the birth certificate of that child comes up. And for those that already have something of that sort, which is the certificate of life of birth, most times it doesn't suffice when you need to do something legal about it. So when it gets to this point, that's when you get mothers having to pay certain amount of money to acquire the certificate for their wards.
Okay, the number to send your WhatsApp messages is 0902 265 6167. And we would also want to know if anyone has been punished in either Owerri or Port Harcourt for this said extortion.
In Port Harcourt, basically, when the investigation on the field was done, I spoke to the director, the National Population Commission in Port Harcourt, and I brought the findings to his notice. Well, yes, he believed that there are incidents of extortion and corruption in the system, but he also pointed out to the fact that these are not really the main hindrance in the birth registration process. And in Owerri also, we also took our findings there. And Mr. Agu Innocent, who is the head of vital registration in Uweri, also told me that there are processes. Yeah, he also accepts that there are bad eggs in the system also. But according to him, there are processes in the civil service that you need to follow to bring people to book if they have been caught to have done this. So far, the people that are involved in this investigation, because we have names, we have pictures, we've not had anything being done.
That brings in a sense of impunity, as always, into the entire process. Is the Nigerian asking in for something so helpless about getting things done in a transparent manner? Is it that we can't muster some courage to insist that certain things don't get done? Or was it a case of people not even knowing that registration of birth, as well as the certificate that goes with it, are free?
Yes, that's another factor. Because apart from people being extorted the money, the other thing is ignorance. And it's something that is quite massive, especially in the society. So when you have people think you are collecting data about my child, or you're collecting data about me, maybe you're going to use it to track me, maybe you're going to use it to hold me accountable one way or the other that they're trying to evade. Yeah, So you find out that most mothers, they don't want to get the certificates. So the question is, what am I doing with it? And when you point out the fact that it's very crucial because it helps your child have an identity in a country that should be his, and you get the response that goes like, the government doesn't even know that my child exists or that I exist. So what's the point? But they don't know that that's the first step of actually announcing your existence. So that is why it's crucial for more awareness to be carried out in that area, so that people know what they get, what you stand to lose when you don't do stuff like that.
It's so tempting asking you more questions, but then we'll violate another segment that comes into this show, and that's the phone-in session or section of it. It's time to receive your calls now. And we wonder how many citizens are aware that birth registration and the birth certificate are free in hospitals and at registration centers. So you have a lot to center your calls around. When you talk about awareness, I again remember that there is an organization called National Orientation Agency.
Yes.
That should actually help Nigerians get to know what their rights are by dint of the kind of explanations they're giving them concerning public institutions and how they access them.
Yes, I think if we had one of those agencies in the hospitals that orient women, there are issues, there are circumstances, there've been instances where mothers are educated, during immunization, antenatal, on the need to actually get this birth certificate. Jennifer, but I think it could go
you'll complete this later. There's a call coming in. These calls are very important to us. Sure. Hello.
Your name, please?
My name is Osilama.
Osilama.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go right ahead.
Corruption is endemic in Nigeria. There is no thing. I have to tell you, to the best of my knowledge, the biggest one, I don't think we can help it. Are you there?
Oh, we can hear you. Just go right ahead.
I don't think we can help it. I'm saying this because, as it is, even when the service, whether from government agency, you go to the hospital, you go to anywhere you go to, you have to give us a kickback before anything goes. If your file will live follow, and then somebody's desk, or you don't get treatment because you don't want to keep back, you don't want to play cards, and all that. I tell you this is my personal experience. I got most jam that I want to.
Hello?
My personal experience, I would say, General Speaker, for instance.
Yes, quickly.
Okay, I'm very brief. I brought two guys to come to get blood for my wife. So they have childbirth. Now, I was meant to pay 12,000 naira unrestricted for blood screening. 12,000 for 2 pints of blood, 6,000 for each. I brought those guys. I did the blood. You understand? I paid money for the screening. At the end of the day, those bloods were not used. I said to them, if I'm going to leave this blood, then let me have back the cash I paid. This is cash. I paid to. I put the offer, I paid the money. I paid the money to you. You collected the money. Am I right? I said yes. And he agreed. But I checked, you never bought the blood. And my question was, why must I pay anything not receiving the federal government hospital? For someone that was pressed. I mean, at that point, I needed it here at all costs.
Okay, my brother, this is an instance that simply suggests itself to us to investigate. But I must say that what we are concentrating on today is the extortion that seems to happen when you go for child birth registration and collecting a certificate. If we can just concentrate on that. I'm sorry about your experience, of course, but let us try to keep to the topic today and see whether we can get somewhere in terms of solutions. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
My name is Prophet Alao. It's true, when my wife delivered a baby almost last year, for private hospital, they collect 500 and say it belongs to National Population Commission. Every children, they will collect 500 naira. They collect 500 naira. I said, this is the government, this is the government, they say it belongs to the National Population Commission. I want to argue with them, but I just thank God that my wife delivered safely. That's why I got to say the 500 naira, I got feel like I got idea.
Oh my dear.
I'm very annoyed that for my child to go so born, whenever I get the name, they collect 500 naira. As a birth certificate says, we should come back we should come and collect it. When I went there, my wife went there, they came out, but we pay 500 naira.
My brother, it's supposed to be free. Thank you for that contribution. Birth registration, the birth certificate, they are all free. Hello.
My name is Ochilama. I had to like I paid 4,000 at the time.
How much did you pay, sir?
I paid 4,000
To do what?
They say to me, they are going to do it immediately. I think it'll be 1,000 or so. But if after 4,000, I can say 4,000 naira, I didn't know the same day. But I'm sure you need to have to check something. You understand? I paid 4,000 for 3 of them. They say I went to tell you. Is it that they create artificial urgency just to get the money from you? Everybody wants to do the solution, want to restore people. That's what I want to understand. But I paid. I don't think somebody paid for me. I paid myself. Why was I by my side when I paid the money?
Okay, thank you very much. There's another call coming in. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Your name and your comment, quickly.
My name is Ugwa.
Go ahead.
I'm calling from Lupe.
Thank you.
Contribution, sir.
I paid 500 naira.
You paid 500 naira.
Yes, I paid for Lupe here.
Who asked for it? Who asked you to pay?
I asked for the child, the birth certificate.
Yes.
So what they normally do, they will tell you to go to place. There's a lady there. When you went there, the lady will give you some book. They will take the book now, send it for the other side. When you get there, the woman there, the woman will give you the birth certificate, everything. Say it's 500 naira.
Do they?
Immediately finish writing the name and everything, the date, the time and everything. It's the matter, you give us 500 naira. So we'll collect the 500 naira. That's what they do.
Do you get a receipt for it?
No receipt. No receipt. The only receipt is the birth certificate.
The birth certificate. Okay, the birth certificate you get is actually what you get. There's nothing that says you paid this amount of money. Is that the point you're making?
No.
So it's the same. It's the same story.
That certificate they will give you, but they will say to madam, you give us 500 naira.
Wabunkoye, thank you so very much. Thank you. Another call.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Cole.
Okay, your contribution, please.
Please, let me thank you first for you guys also making this program to be implemented transparency. But when you do your journalism, you can come down to Buhari. In Buhari, there is no way it's free. We go to some hospital, I don't want to mention hospital that we are my children born, they all pay 500 naira. I pay 500 naira for each and every of them. And I'm even on my neighbors, every other people paying it everywhere in Paris here. So please, you guys should come down to Paris and see what is happening there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
So it's all pervading. It's everywhere.
If he was asked to pay 500, that's fair. In some cases, we had to pay about 3,000, way more than that.
You're
and we
not
have
saying that.
we have people's testimony that they've paid. Someone paid about 10,000 to get one.
For what?
And because it was judged, I'm giving you this because it's urgent. I mean, you need it very fast. I mean, one of the men I spoke to said, actually, I met someone, a registrar also. He had already left the hospital. So he told us to come meet him in the market. So when we got to the market, one of the things he told us when we started bargaining about the price was, hey, I'm giving you this at a good price. You're not even supposed to be talking. I mean, it's very sharp and you just collected it. And let's point out the fact that the birth certificate is mostly free for people, for children below, let's just put it from 1 to 17. That's persons not above 18, actually. But for the other people, you need to swear an affidavit, to move on from that level. So basically, we focused more on kids, children, because
minors.
Yes, because if you did register your child as a child at that early age, there wouldn't be any need to do that later. So it's better to do it earlier than to do it later because it's a little bit more
It comes out almost like an all-in-one card if you register that early.
And then you have everything.
It solves so many things.
Exactly.
So for people above 18, it's not free?
Yeah, because when I was speaking to Innocent from Port Harcourt, he said, yes, you have to swear an affidavit, maybe come to the office. There could be other stuff that you need to do. But there in Owerri, I had to ask, first of all, I need a birth certificate. Let's get something for someone that is old enough. So I was saying to a desk, hey, you need to get this at this price. I'm like, how much? The form is 4,000. And you need to go to the courts and come back and everything. But during the interview, when I was speaking with the head of vital registration, he told me that for an adult, it should be 2,000. So which means people downstairs were adding more of what you should pay. You understand?
So the official rate is 2,000.
For him, in Owerri there, that was what we were told. That it should be 2,000.
Okay, there's another call in. Please, let's take it.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Adewumi Daniel.
Hello, Adewumi.
Thank you, Adewumi Daniel.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think we are deceiving ourselves in Nigeria. We have been talking about many things like this. Nothing happens. We will hear about government hospital. We will hear about government school. We pay silently. We pay money here. Police will tell us that their bail is free. We pay. See, the people who are in hospital, I don't blame them. I pay for my son in 2017 at Hindu Karimoye, 1,500. And the National Population Commission, on top of this, is in my house now. I pay 1,500. I argue with them that I thought this is a free. The woman said that if I want to collect this free, I should go to Ministry of Health. So for you to know, those who are giving us in that hospital, they are not the one who collect this money. It is the same these people that you and I are looking to call leader. They are the one who give them order that you people should sell it. Nothing will happen. You understand? Even though if you go for investigation, you are talking about only Abuja. You see many people are calling. Only we that we are in Abuja, and this my sister with you that is talking about Imo State. Go to Kano, go to Ekiti, go to Enugu. The same thing is going on. Are you telling me that somebody who is a minister of health does not know about it? Or the director of minister of health, they know about what is going on. They are the ones who are making masses drive. They are collecting from masses. Before you know, 1 million people will pay. Use the 500 times 1 million. How much is it? Is it not something?
Adewumi, thank you. Sorry, we had to go there because we have more calls to take.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Gerald, and I'm calling from my chama presently.
Your contribution, sir.
Okay, mine is this not to counter my brother Adewumi Daniel who called. It's important, because I had this experience just 2 days ago, Ugwa General Hospital. The consultation fee took, a little boy there, a child. The consultation fee officially is 200 naira. But then the cashier, whom I understand to be a representative of one of the banks, asked for 300 naira. 200 was receipted for 100 naira unaccounted. When I asked the question, they said they had explained to patients that the hospital decided that, extra 100 naira should be paid so that they will use it to take care of people that cannot afford. And I'm like, why is it not documented? At least so that there will be a way of tracking it. And how do we even know that that money indeed is being spent for the indigent? These are things we should look at. So let me summarize by saying it is not correct. You cannot say authoritatively that they will know that it is the minister and all of that. It is about even the smallest people around us being corrupt. The little civilian, the little Nigerian who has one office there trying to exploit other Nigerians. So I'm bringing this up. I'm looking for the relevant agency to collaborate with, to go and challenge that, process there. I don't have any problem with, helping the indigent, but it has to be documented so that we are sure that the money you are taking from Nigerians go to helping the indigents indeed.
You've made your point.
And then we should channel his energy into challenging service failure, exploitation of Nigeria, instead of always pointing finger at the top.
That's the wonderful thing about this program. It is not just from you to us. You're now doing from you to you, and that makes the entire process rather robust.
Yeah.
I like you questioning what another person has put in. It doesn't actually denigrate it. It helps the discussion and makes us go on in more and more strength. But for now, customary to this program, that is, we do what we call the Vox Pop. Vox Populi, Vox Deo. So goes the Latin saying. So we want to hear from the street.
Yes, I do, because that of my first child was free, so I think I do.
I actually paid to get mine. It's a token. I can't actually remember, but I think it was part of the bill.
I did it some years ago. I never knew it was free.
Oh, that's quite short and straight to the point. We are still harvesting these calls as they come in. But
we are waiting for Nigerian women to make their contribution. We've not heard from you, so I would encourage women to share their experience with us.
yes, ladies, you are in the epicenter of this earthquake of extortion, as it were, because we've been given the impression that it is all-encompassing. It's everywhere. It's pervading. Adobe, okay?
The WhatsApp number is 0902-265-6167. While my colleagues went the streets to get the experiences of women, we found out that some of them were aware that it's actually free.
Okay.
But because they needed it, and the hospital staff made it compulsory for them, they had to pay.
If you want to talk about the health cares or the hospital staffs now, it's a whole different thing, because some of the people, it's supposed to be a National Population Commission exercise. They are supposed to be the one giving it out. But what happened is that in most cases, they give the certificates to the healthcare workers to issue out when they are not there. So they still, the factor, the aspect to look at that, it could be the primary healthcare workers collecting the money, or it could be the National Population Commission registrar getting the money also.
You know what, Jennifer?
Okay.
On our job, we don't speculate.
So
you know that.
Sure, because
they are free to say these things.
This whole
Ours
thing
is to investigate and find out the real
exactly.
truth.
So when we did this, we also found out that the primary healthcare workers, they collect money also when they issue. Likewise, the National Population Commission worker or registrar that also collects money from you also when you do so. And when you say, oh, it's just 500, it's 1,000, it's 200, most of these women just see it as, I have a baby, there's something I should be grateful for. So parting with 500 will be nothing. You understand? So they see it as, okay, it's assumed I should pay, so let me just pay. And decide 500, just like someone said, it's a token.
They are working on the psychology of natural submission.
Exactly. So that's what you get. And it's more like the NPC right now. you know what is going on, because this was one of the issues I discussed with Innocent about and Dakar in Port Harcourt. You know that this whole thing is going on. Have you tried telling this woman what to expect and what to do, what not to do? But it looks as if there's been the energy to do that, or the force to create that awareness. It's been very, very low. And that's when you get them start complaining about, oh, we don't have much fund, we don't have manpower, with the extortion, it's not the problem, it's just that we don't get things from the government, we get it more from UNICEF and stuff like that. So excuses come up from different areas. And the women that pay, most ignorantly, they give the money. Some know that it should be free, but because I have something else to be grateful for, it's normal, it's the norm in the country, so you pay to get something.
We know that private businesses, especially the private owned hospitals, they are there for business in as much as they are there to tend to Nigerians. Some women also said that they paid higher than 500, 1,000. Can you excuse private owned hospitals because they are there for business?
What happened is that private owned hospitals don't give you a birth certificate that has the NPC emblem on it. It doesn't say National Population Commission. So it has to come directly from a registrar, from the NPC. So anything that the private hospitals are billing you to give you a certificate of life of birth, that's different. But this has to do, I'm looking at the national aspect of it, not the private part of it right now.
Yes, the privately owned ones could go into partnership with NPC, for instance, and get these things done. So you might not even justify their charging money for it, because there's a national policy that says it's free. You do not justify it because you run a private concern. Am I right in assuming that?
You are very, very right. And we actually bumped into one of those hospitals like that. So we have a private hospital that what they do is they invite, even though they might give you the certificate, their own private certificate, but they still tell mothers, oh, you need to come back on a particular day to get the one that the government gives you. So we have the good ones there also.
Okay, that's a good one. There's a call coming in, which is equally good. Hello, how are you? Your name and comment quickly.
My name is called John. I'm calling you from Usel Zone 5.
Thank you.
But in my place in a general hospital, I think when my wife gave birth to a child, I pay 1,000 naira for the same card.
You've all been paying.
General hospital of Port and Benue State, I pay 1,000 naira here for the birth certificate.
Okay, thank you, John. You're only adding to the sadness, getting something you pay money for, whereas it is supposed to be free to you. And I still say that some of these people who do these things, who pay these monies, are not aware that it is even free. The NOA has a job to do. And please, I have to quickly say that our guest today, Jennifer Ugwa, is... What did you say?
Ugwa.
Ugwa. Oh, sorry, my dear. We've been distorting it. Her name is Jennifer Ugwa, and she works for the International Center for Investigative Reporting. She's a journalist. I need to make that clear, because somebody was thinking you work for
the NPC.
The NPC. No, she doesn't, please. Are we getting more calls? Okay. There's a feedback segment we're going to go into now as we wait for your call. Okay, let's just take this call first, because the calls are very precious. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Washington.
How are you?
We need to clear this there.
Okay.
You know, I called earlier. About one.
It's okay.
I'll be very brief.
Thank you.
Now, you see, so many of us knew that it's free. Like myself, I know. I complained, and I told the woman, I said, madam, this is supposed to be free. It's even a donor, I think the donor body, I mean, spending money for this stuff. I told the woman, I said to me, no, make a carry and go meet them for their office.
The NBC office? Was it the NBC office?
Yes.
You know, that government said they should be collecting money. She said it to me.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, can we have our feedback now?
Our mail is from Charles from Nnewi, and he says, I have a friend who is having problems in the university for 3 years now because she refused to sleep with one of the lecturers. She is afraid of reporting the lecturer, and she's at the brim of dropping out of school if she fails again. Many thanks for your mails. Keep them coming through info@primorg.org or call 0902-265-6167. Like, subscribe and drop your comments on our YouTube channel at Primorg TV.
I want to quickly help you recall that we had Dr. Ibolo in our last edition where we talked about sex or money for marks. That's actually what that feedback was working on. But I know we have another call coming in now.
Hello.
My name is Fine Country. Please, I really want to ask, I think so many people have been bringing their complaint, and you people have been underlining and recording it. But my question is this, what are you people doing to see that all these things are being resolved and solved once and for all? Each time there has always been a corruption case in Nigeria, and I think that police should act very fast, and I keep on saying that if we can get police right in Nigeria, I think we will get every institution and all sectors right. So all these things have been happening around. Could you people set up maybe a kind of task force or an investigation team that will apprehend or arrest these people and bring them to proof? So it's not every day that we keep on complaining about one thing and there's no solution and nothing is being done about it. That is my own contribution. Please, thank you very much.
It's okay. I don't blame you for beginning to feel the monotony of continuous complaint. But remember that our job here is to amplify corruption cases so that relevant authorities can be equipped to do their job further. Yeah. That is what we do here. Like Jennifer Ugwa, her job as a journalist is to go and investigate things, find out what the truth is. We say that facts are sacred. We do everything to protect them. Yeah. She exposes those facts. It is left for the police and other agencies to take it up from there. The journalist has done his job. So we need to understand these things. But there's nothing wrong in you suggesting that we should see whether we can take a step further. But that would become an NGO thing. Okay, let's take just one more call before we round up. Hello.
Hello, bro.
How are you?
Please. Thank you. This is Adewumi calling back. I want to beg you people as a journalist.
Yes.
Airport, go to MPC.
Yes.
Let one of them come and challenge Nigerians.
That's a good one.
Let them come and tell us that what we are saying is not true.
That's a good one.
That's what I know they will not come because they see God.
Don't prejudge them.
But try. You people should pressurize them. Let them come and inform Nigeria. Maybe we are lying against them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we should actually go into the process of calling it a day here. Is there one more call left? Okay. Let us do this. Somebody here is telling us, I did my child's own at Cuba, that's the registration of the child, at Cuba General Hospital, but I didn't pay. My counselor, Mr. Counselor Makudu. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's very good.
There's a silver lining in these clouds, after all.
There are silver linings. I mean, in Port Harcourt, the teaching hospital there, I mean, when we went to speak to the lady issuing the certificate, she was very, very adamant on, I'm not giving you anything. And especially, I can't see a child with you, you know? There's no child with you. How do you prove you are related to this child? So yeah, they are the good ones there too.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, it's time to call for your final comment on this as we go home.
Okay, so basically what I think it's time for NPC, just like someone mentioned, to say something on this case and really, really say something about it. Because throughout the process of the investigation, we sent letters for interviews, we requested, but till now, nothing. So I think there should be clarity. And besides, now it's public. You shouldn't have to pay for your child's birth certificate. Try stick to that when you are asked to pay.
That's a good one. We have come to the end of today's program, Public Conscience on Radio. Remember, it comes back same time next week. Remember, too, that you can reach us on the WhatsApp line 0902-265-6167. Our social media platforms are equally available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or at official Primorg. You can also watch us on YouTube on Primorg TV. We appreciate the MacArthur Foundation for supporting Primorg in the production of this program. I am Chukwudi Okuli-Ubaja. I will want to hear a final goodbye from Jennifer.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
You're
and
welcome.
Adobe.
Nigerians, you're now aware, so please do not pay when you go to register your children.
Yeah.
Okay, I give it to you just one more time. Our WhatsApp line, that is 0902-265-6167. And that does it for today's program. We thank you for being there. Without you, what would we be? Thanks so much. Next week is another time. Thank you.